Hello everyone, welcome to the Morrowind Book Club. Last time we read through The Brief History of the Empire Volume 3, and today we are going to conclude this little mini-series, I guess, within an already very mini-series. It's like a mini-series. Yeah, we got my Morrowind Let's Play, and then we got the Morrowind Book Club, and then within that we've got a small little series where we've been reading The Brief History of the Empire. I mean, which is also technically in the part where I'm just reading all the books in Kakarnak's library. Anyways, enough introduction. Let's get into A Brief History of the Empire. A Brief History of the Empire, Part 4 by Stronach Kvad III, Imperial Historian. The first book in this, oh man, it's like, this is like, last time on Dragon Ball Z, blah, 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 blah. I don't know why I picked Dragon Ball Z. I don't know, that was the first thing that came to mind about shows that have recaps. Last time, anyways. The first book of the series described in brief the first 8 emperors of the Septim Dynasty, beginning with Tiber I. The second volume described the War of the Red Diamond and the 6 emperors that followed. The third volume described boringness. The troubles of the next 3 emperors, the frustrated Uriel IV, the ineffectual Sepphoris II, and the heroic Uriel V. Why is he heroic? Is it because he went and invaded a place? I don't know. I don't remember too many of the details. I remember him. Yeah, he was a war person. Yeah, I guess if you're a warrior, that gives you the title of heroic, because killing people is heroic. Good job, Uriel V. And Uriel V's death across the sea in distant hostile Akavir, Uriel VI was but 5 years old. In fact, Uriel VI was born only shortly before his father left for Akavir. Uriel V's only other progeny by a Morganatic alliance were the twins Morihatha and Eloisa. I'm sorry, my mind went to like Harry Potter. No, it's not Eloisa. It's Eloisa. I don't know, sorry. Who had been born a month after Uriel V left. Uriel VI was crowned in the 290th year of the Third Era. The imperial consort Thonica, as the boy's mother, was given a restricted regency until Uriel VI reached his majority. The Elder Council retained the real power, as they had ever since the days of Kateria I. The council so enjoyed its unlimited and unrestricted freedom to promulgate laws and generate profits. See, I knew it! I was like, you know what? They're corrupt. They're corrupt to the core. That Uriel VI was not given full license to rule until 307, when he was already 22 years old. He had been slowly assuming positions of responsibility for years, but both the council and his mother, who enjoyed even her limited regency, were loath to hand over the reins. By the time he came to the throne, the mechanisms of government gave him little power except for that of the imperial veto. This power, however, he regularly and vigorously exercised. By 313, Uriel VI could boast with conviction that he truly did rule Tamriel. He utilized defunct spy networks and guard units to bully and coerce the difficult members of the Elder Council. His half-sister, Morihatha, was, not surprisingly, his staunchest ally, especially after her marriage to Baron Ulfgerson of Winterhold brought her considerable wealth and influence. As the sage Ugarij said, Uriel V conquered Esronier, I don't know, but Uriel VI conquered the Elder Council. See, now that's heroic, because these are people that hold power over your head, and you go against them. Like, I don't know, we heard about the other dude who's like, oh, he was heroic because he went and did war stuff, but hey, the other guy, the one who was literally mentioned right here, Uriel V, yeah. But this actually, I like this because it's kind of gives a different context to the entire place, because I've been, you judge in a video game, no, in real life too, people tend to, we tend to judge things a little bit more, we lump things up and, we'll get into that later. Sorry. When Uriel VI fell off a horse and could not be resuscitated by the finest imperial healers, his beloved sister, Morihatha, took up the imperial tiara. At 25 years of age, she had been described by, admittedly self-serving, diplomats as the most beautiful creature in all of Tamriel. She was certainly well-learned, vivacious, athletic, and a well-practiced politician. She brought the Archmagister of Skyrim to the Imperial City and created the second Imperial Battle Mage since the days of Tiber Septim. Morihatha finished the job her brother had begun and made the Imperial Province a true government under the Empress and later the Emperor. Outside the Imperial Province, however, the Empire had been slowly disintegrating. Open revolutions and civil wars had raged unchallenged since the days of her grandfather Sephirus II. Carefully coordinating her counterattacks, Morihatha slowly claimed back her rebellious vassals, always avoiding overextending herself. Though Morihatha's military campaigns were remarkably successful, her deliberate pace often frustrated the council. One councilman, an Argonian who took the Colovian name of Thoricles Romus, furious at her refusal to send troops to his troubled Black Marsh, is commonly believed to have hired the assassins who claimed her life. In Third Era 339. Romus was similarly tried and executed, though he protested his innocence to the last. Morihatha had no surviving children, and Eloisa had died of a fever 4 years before. Eloisa's 25-year-old son, Pelagius, was thus crowned Pelagius IV. Pelagius IV continued his aunt's work, slowly bringing back under his wing the radical and refractory kingdoms, duchies, and baronies of the empire. He exercised Morihatha's poise and a circumspect pace in his endeavors, but alas, he did not attain her success. The kingdoms had been free of constraint for so long that even a benign imperial presence was considered odious. Nevertheless, when Pelagius died after an astonishing 49-year reign, Tamriel was closer to unity than it had been since the days of Uriel I. Our current emperor, so we're getting current here, that's what the word current means, is current. His awesome and terrible majesty, Uriel the Septim, the seventh, son of Pelagius the Fourth, has the diligence of his great aunt, Morihatha, the political skill of his great uncle Uriel VI, and the military prowess of his great grand uncle Uriel V. So he sounds like he's got the whole package. He's like the greatest that's ever been. For 21 years he reigned and brought justice and ordered it to Tamriel. In the year Third Era 389, however, his imperial battle mage Jagar Tharn betrayed him. Oh, I remember that guy. Yeah, we stabbed him in the face. Uriel VII was imprisoned in a dimension of Tharn's creation, and Tharn used his sorcery of illusion to assume the Emperor's aspect. For the next 10 years, Tharn abused imperial privilege, but did not continue Uriel VII's schedule of reconquest. Okay. It is not yet entirely known what Tharn's goals and personal accomplishments were during the 10 years he masqueraded as his liege lord. In Third Era 399, an enigmatic champion defeated the battle mage in the dungeons of the Imperial Palace and freed Uriel VII from his other dimensional jail. That was us! We did that! Please see my Let's Play on Arena to see where we did that, because, you know, we're awesome. Since his emancipation, Uriel VII has worked diligently to renew the battles that would reunite Tamriel. Tharn's interference broke the momentum, it is true, but the years since then have proven that there is hope of the golden age of Tiber Septim's rule, glorifying Tamriel once again. Okay, I liked this volume. This volume was better than the last one, I think, just because it gave us something. A little bit more detail, a little bit more, I don't know, maybe it's just because of my connection with Arena, but no, even then, I liked the bit about the corruption. As I was going to say earlier, you know, we tend to simplify things. It makes these things easier for categorization and stuff, right? It's easier for me to go ahead and look at this whole thing and see the Empire as this one. Oh man, it's too early. I can't remember the word I want to use here. One lump. It's just this one thing. You know, I lump the Emperor in with the Council and stuff. And you know, I wasn't really sure. I will say the political structure of the empire. You know, how was everything run? I knew that there was a council there. I remember reading about that for Arena, but it didn't really, you know, it didn't really connect with me, or occur to me just how much power they may have wielded, and you know, the effect of the corruption. Because you know, I've been playing the game, and you know, when I see crap about like the empire and stuff, you know, my opinion of the empire starts going down, and then as such, you know, my opinion of the emperor starts going down as well. Because I know I've played a little bit of like Skyrim, and in my mind I was like, you know, because I know when I get there, there's a point where you have to choose, you know, between the empire and the other people. I haven't played a lot of Skyrim, I'm sorry, okay? So I don't remember what their faction is. You know, like the native Skyrimians, yes. The children of the sky. I think that's how they were referred to in a previous book. Anyways, and in my mind, I've been kind of going, well, you know, man, the Emperor's a real jerk. I don't like the Emperor. And I'm like, well, is it actually the Emperor? You know, do we have another case of where, you know, the council is once again doing stuff, or are there powers within the empire? You know, I need to stop seeing the empire as just this one solid entity, and see it more as like multiple pieces. You know, just much like how people are not just, we are so complex. We're made of many different facets, many different interests, and you know, aspects of our personality. But people tend to just sum it up with, you know, hey, that's that person. When there are many different layers to it. And, you know, I feel like all of like human society, it kind of follows that same sort of thing. It's like a fractal all the way up. You know, our body is made up of all these little parts, you know, different cells and organs. And then, you know, even on the personal, the social level, you know, we have all these different facets of our personality, you know, what's the term? Like code switchings, like, well, that's actually not really the same thing. I hope you get what I'm getting at. You know, we each have our own little personalities, and it's like a fractal. It's like, okay, and then you go up to like, you know, like a municipal level. You know, you have the entire society, or the entire group of people there, and they're all made up of multiple groups working together to accomplish something. And then you move out to like a larger, like a provincial or a state level, and you have that group, but they're really made up of a bunch of smaller pieces. And then you gotta go up to, you know, the national level, and so far, and it just keeps going up and up and up, and it's really made up of multiple small pieces that we like to sum up as one big solid piece. When, you know, you wouldn't look at someone who with like cancer or you know, some disease, and say, well, they're trash because part of their body is broken. You know, you acknowledge that, you know, there could be a very awesome person there that has something horrible happening within them, to them. And I feel like, yeah, that maybe that's how I should start seeing the empire. You know, you know, it could be terrible. I still haven't totally made up my mind about the empire. I've been kind of on the empire's side just because, you know, that's where we started, right? It's a bias, because when I started with Arena, you know, we were the emperor's champion, and even in Daggerfall, as much as I hated the game, you know, the premise of that was like, hey, you know, you're working for the emperor, you're trusted by the emperor. So, you know, there's sort of an affinity for the empire there. But, you know, here, finally, I'm, you know, reading through the books, I'm starting to piece together, you know, about the way it works politically, and kind of how I feel about the empire itself as a whole. So yeah, that's it's interesting thoughts. I hope people will see it. I hope they don't skip over this book club, or some of the I hope they don't skip over the book clubs in general, because I feel like even though I'm separating them out so that people can skip them, I do still feel like these are, you know, these are part of the experience, right? This is where the lore, a lot of the game comes from. Anyways, I think I've gone on long enough. We've finally finished reading A Brief History of the Empire within our larger series of reading all of Kakardak's library, within our larger series of the Morrowind book club, within our larger series of my Morrowind Let's Play. If you liked this little video and my little tangent where I just started philosophizing, if that's really what I was doing, I was talking about life in general and stuff. or politics, or I don't even know what I was talking about. I don't know what I was talking about. But if you liked whatever it was that I was spewing, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like my use of the word spewing there, leave this a thumbs down. Either way, let me know what you thought in the comment section. And until next time, when we're going to be reading something else, I'd like to ask you all to game on.